by the way, the government continued to pile up unpaid bills. The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office announcing today that in the past 4 months, the U.S. racked up another $838 billion in debt, $127 billion just last month alone. Joining me now, Sean Spicer, NewsNation contributor, former Trump White House press secretary, host of the Sean Spicer podcast. Sean, thanks for being with us tonight. Always great to hear from you, see you. The big news among them, and I'm getting some headlines coming out of the White House right now with the president speaking to reporters, but the big news at the moment are the tariffs, I should say. What do you think the president's trying to get out of it, especially as a lot of this hurts Canada?
Well, first, I just got to say it's fun doing this where you literally go the headline now, because we know the headline in like 20 minutes is going to be different.
Well, do you want? I'll give you the headline in a second, but start there.
Well, I just think that, look, when it comes to tariff and immigration, those are the two issues. If you go back and look at Donald Trump back into the 80s, 90s, you're going to find a huge amount of consistency. Steel tariffs are something that he has been talking about forever. This was a big deal in Trump 1. He really wanted to get those, get U.S. steel to be used to make our pipelines, all sorts of stuff. So it's something to him that's Americana, the idea of the steel industry. And as a builder, it's a critical, key, essential element of the heart of America. So I think that this is an issue that he wants to make sure that we're benefiting U.S. manufacturers of steel, especially something like Bethlehem Steel, which there's been a lot of discussion about the ownership of it recently, right, especially when the Prime Minister of Japan was here. So this is one area where sometimes people say, I wonder how serious he is. When it comes to tariffs and steel or immigration, I think that there's no question that the president's going to be pretty hardcore on those issues.
The president said there would be all hell to pay, or all hell would break loose if the hostages weren't back before Inauguration Day. There is, from inside the Oval Office, this comes from the Associated Press, Trump says ceasefire deal should be canceled if Hamas doesn't release all hostages by Saturday, but it's up to Israel. That's what some of what we are learning the president is saying inside the Oval Office. If so, does that cross some kind of a red line, Sean?
Well, the end of that statement is what kind of gets me. Like, I mean, it's up to Israel. So I think he's going to probably give Prime Minister Netanyahu, who was just in D.C. meeting with him for several days, the green light to say, do what you need to do to get these folks out. But I don't think that's, look, there's clearly some discussions going on while he was here with Prime Minister Netanyahu. He's made it clear before, prior to the inauguration, as you recall, that if they weren't released by then. So I think we're probably testing his will right now. I think Saturday's going to be a critical deadline. And if I were Hamas, you might want to figure out how to make this thing end real quick.
Sean, all the headlines they're just nonstop, right? The president in the courts, Doge, tariffs. Plastic straws is a part of the Oval Office,
Pennies.
Right? Pennies, right? The Trump team got some good news.
And then he fired everyone on the service academy.
Yeah, we could keep going, right? The Trump team got some good news over the weekend. CBS poll. Is the president tough, energetic, focused, effective? All of that, anywhere between 58 to 69%. But here's what caught my attention, Sean. Is he doing enough to lower prices? 2/3 of the country says not enough. And I just wonder if that's something that you think that the Trump team needs to keep their eye on.
Absolutely. Look, I have Jim McLaughlin, the president's pollster, on my podcast tonight. He says the same thing. The president understands this. He's been talking about it. One, look, it's not like he's not been doing anything. This isn't a redux of Biden here. This president, you just named it, right? But a lot of what he's doing, and he's been very clear, it may take a little while. It may be, there might be a little bit of pain involved because of the tariffs. But his eye is focused on this. There's nobody better that has a feel for the American people than Donald Trump. He understands that people are paying more for this stuff, but there's no magic wand that you can wave in 2 seconds and make it go away.
Right.
But he's trying to bring back jobs, bring back manufacturing. The Doge stuff, the bottom line is spending, government spending in particular, has a direct correlation to inflation. Okay. He's trying to cut out the waste there. This is an all-out assault.
Thank you for watching, and make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.